welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another edition here, the second day even of the SC2's Safe House number 2 playoffs. I'm Coach VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all. Unfortunately, no Bunny Cam today. If you're a part of our Discord server, you'll know that unfortunately Bunny Cam has met its demise. It lasted a couple of days. Bit of a feels bad, man. I mean, I say that in a couple of days we'll see if it works again. For those that are curious, we were streaming yesterday and the camera did fall into their, I don't know how, but it fell into their bunny bowl. I think it fell to the ground and then they might have like picked it up and then taken it to the bowl because it was actually quite far away, but but the camera did meet its demise. Right now is, you know, in a rice bag, and hopefully once the moisture has been sucked out it can work again. If not, smudge. Smudge, might be smudge. But regardless, we're here with day 2 of the SC2's Safe House number 2. Of course, we casted day 1 live. That was over on Saturday. That was the group stage, and Sunday was the playoffs. Unfortunately, we were unable to cover it live, of course. The main stream did handle it, but we have the replays to have a replay cast here a couple of days later to go over those playoffs. Here we go. Let's switch things over and catch up on the bracket itself. We have our top 4. We have our top 4 players. For those, also, before I forget, for those that maybe didn't watch the event live and didn't watch us cover the group stage, check out the VODs. Check out the VODs over on YouTube. The VODs are uploaded on a daily basis, and the VODs are there under the live tab for the group stage. But essentially, this tournament is looking to become and looking to grow, ideally to grow and evolve into the point where it can become self-sustaining and also provide for an offline venue and grow into the quote-unquote NA version of a Home Story Cup, where basically we had all the NA talents, or the majority of the NA talents, come together. We had State, we had Zombie Grub, we had Steadfast, Chicken Man, the Zerg Girl as well. They were all together at the an Airbnb. They rented an Airbnb together in Vegas, and they were able to host and put on a show, host the tournament from Vegas as well. Players, unfortunately, they were playing online. Again, as you mentioned, like, you know, the event is still in this is the second year. This is the second year of SC2's Safe House, and we're still growing the event to the point where we can ideally fly players over and actually have more of an offline event, even potentially open to the public as well, potentially. But again, is in the works, is slowly growing over the years. This is the second year of SC2's Safe House, and both years we have been the B stream, and now here to cover the replays from that final day from the playoffs. But we can see here the top 4. We had a round robin group stage also to add to the NA nature of this event, or the Americas nature. We have purely Latin American and North American players competing, of course. Here for the playoffs, we do have a nice kind of a spread here of Latin versus Americas, actually. SpeCial versus Astrea, and Cham versus Trigger. This is our top 4 players of the tournament, and we're going to be kicking things off with our TVP with SpeCial versus Astrea. Now, these are going to be best of 7s, which is crazy. Best of 7 semis, best of 9 grand finals. Insanely long series. So it's gonna be an intense one, baby. Let's go. Let us go. Up first, of course, we have our TVP. Up first, we do have Astrea and SpeCial and Juanito gonna be facing off in that best of 7. Do need a moment though, as I quickly almost forgot to set some things up. Un momento. As I almost did forget the logos mod for the tournament. Beautiful. And we can jump into game 1. The game 1 is going to be on torches, bearing in mind that we do use the regular ladder map pool for this event. Also, I do apologize for not being able to cover the Pigstar Cup this morning. I could have covered part of it at least, but I had the smudge was definitely real after yesterday. After losing the camera, the smudge was real, so I wasn't really feeling too up to the task. Wasn't really feeling too motivated, so did not cover Pigstar Cup this morning. We just slept all morning. But Pigstar Cup was this morning. We might decide to catch up via replays on Pigstar Cup as well. We'll see. Unfortunately, our schedule is very busy next week. I don't know if we have the time to cover the replays of Pigstar Cup, but we'll have that kind of like in our back pockets. If we ever do have a day where we can, you know, slip in a cast, then we will be doing so. Otherwise, spawning in the right hand corner of torches, we have the Mexican Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Team Gosu. It is SpeCial. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss himself, the American Protoss. It is Astrea. Here we go. we go, as we are going to be setting up again. We have our best of 7, and we are going to be settling it. Oh, let's go. As we have our safe house upon us here, we have our TVP. Now, coming into this, Astrea did struggle during the group stage. He did struggle quite a bit in the group stage. Part of the reason for this, of course, is Astrea has been MIA. Astrea has been very out of practice, has not been competing. Ever since EWC, he has not been competing, has not been playing, in any Open Cups or Invitationals either. So Astrea has been looking very rough around the edges and barely even made it through the group stage, which did surprise some. And I mean, even myself included, I was expecting to see a bit of a stronger performance out of him. But again, as we mentioned, he has been very out of the scene and very out of the loop in recent months. Meanwhile, SpeCial is the opposite. SpeCial, he has actually gone back into play. At the beginning of this year, he was very inactive. At the end of last year, beginning of this year, he was barely playing in anything. SpeCial, he only started playing once again once the HSL did begin. That was back in around May, like April, May-ish of this year. Then dipped his toes back in, started competing, started playing, and has been slowly regaining his skills, slowly regaining his prowess here. And he had a much stronger performance in the group stage, much stronger. But we'll see how they compare. We'll see how they compare so far. First things first, we're going to Torches. Torches is one of the more aggressive maps in the map pool. Double gas opener, faster factory out of SpeCial, going into a delayed CC. With this going for a more tech-heavy style. Something that was very trendy at the start of the year was to go into Banshee play quite commonly on this map because of the short rush distance by air. Likewise, because of the commonality of Banshee play, we saw the rise in popularity of Stargate openers. Interesting. Now, the goal here for Astrea is to hard counter Banshees, is to open up Phoenixes, is to hide the build, hide the tech, keep the Phoenixes back, and then shut down whatever comes his way, whether it is a Widow Mine drop or Banshee play. And so far, we are setting up for a Mine drop. So our players, they've kind of chosen their builds of choice. SpeCial has yet to confirm the tech. Does go in. Yeah, it does go for the dive, and he should be able to get a full scout. Hellion is going to be cleaned up. Yeah, shuts down the Hellion. Reapers, they do slip in, and they confirm. Yeah, Reapers do confirm. Stargate is scouted, SpeCial is fully aware. And he only makes one Widow Mine into Tech Lab. It's possible that if it wasn't a Stargate opener, he would have committed into additional Widow Mines, but here he does switch out completely into the Tech Lab, into only a singular Widow Mine to not commit too hard to something that otherwise wouldn't do much damage, as Phoenixes are designed to shut that kind of play down. Here we go. F Bunnykin. Smerge. Happy Smerge. Oh, that I was not expecting. Okay. It is going to be Stargate. Sorry, it is going to be the 1-on-1 into a Fusion Core, rushing into BCs. So BC rush out of SpeCial. Stalkers do poke in. Yet to confirm what's going on. Just poking, prodding. No safety bunker. Yeah, no bunker, but the Cyclone has arrived, so SpeCial should hold. Go. Yeah, with that we do see a lot of zoning. A Phoenix does get picked up. Nice pick off here by SpeCial. So he picks up the Phoenix. He was able to zone away the army, and he does defend his main. And Astrea has yet to confirm what exactly is going on. So far, completely unscouted. So far, so good. It's unscouted. Are building up, and it is going to be the Bay follow-up here. So Phoenix Colossus out of Astrea. This means his anti-air is going to be very limited. This means no Twilight Council, no Blink, right? There's no Blink. There are Phoenixes, I suppose, and they have some anti-air, but they're not going to be ideal against BCs. This build here from SpeCial has a lot of potential. Here. We'll see if we can bring it all together. We'll see if we can make this work. Phoenixes, they poke in. They head for the mineral line. SCVs are going to be going down. Getting one, getting two. Not bad. Still SCV kills Cyclone, gets a lock on, and ooh, does get the Phoenix. Phoenix is full, gets one, gets two. Ooh, a very nice start. Two Phoenixes go down. That means that much less to defend. And we're waiting for the push. Here it comes. Here comes the move out. BC has arrived, teleports across the map, right into the main. It is going to be on its own, but again, we are rallying. And how many Stalkers do we have? 4. 4 Stalkers, 2 Phoenixes. The BC does take a lot of hits though, Jesus. Yeah, it takes a lot of damage. I mean, again, it's on its own. This does feel mistimed. Ideally, you want to be hitting at the same time with its BC alongside the main army, or BC into the main, then the main army at the third base. But very mistimed. Now SpeCial does move in. Does get on top of the third. But the first BC didn't do any damage. Oh. Nice break on the lock-on. Lifts the tank, only for a moment. Yes, I can get lifted as well. The tank's going to be cleaned up, and SpeCial, he will lose everything here. And one of the downsides of rushing into BC like that is, if you notice, no stim. No stim, no combat shields. That bio army was very flimsy and very fragile and just went down instantly. And it does feel like SpeCial has kind of blundered this push. Like, it's been a bit of a blunder here. Like, it was mistimed, it was mismanaged. He failed to deny the third, which is brutal. The whole purpose of this was to at least get the base. And Astrea, he holds. Astrea, he holds. He takes the lead. We got Void Ray support behind this to help deal with the battle cruiser. Plus 1 blink as well. And SpeCial, he is going to be going for a mech transition. So he's going for a very tank-heavy style. Unfortunately, the way that he's getting here is subpar. We have seen mech work quite well against Protoss. Like, it has happened. In recent times, we saw, of course, Ryung going to mech. We saw Clem going to mech as well. That was in the past week. And here we see SpeCial doing something similar, but in his own way, right? Opening up with BC push into a mech transition. But again, the tank production has been delayed. The army is that much weaker as a result. We have built up to 3 BCs. There's a lot of potential with this, but this needs to get damage done. Yamato is complete, so there's 3 Yamatos alongside this as well, and we'll see what SpeCial can get done in the main. Meanwhile, we're going into SkyToss. Okay. Scan reveals the SkyToss, reveals the Stargate and the Fleet Beacon. Blink is complete. Oh, tries to dodge, unable to. Yeah, doesn't quite dodge, or the Stalker's going to be going down. Void Rays thankfully re in position, and Void Rays do force a teleport. Yeah, they force a teleport. Behind this, going into Mass Tempest. And this is where, again, I do favor Astrea. If SpeCial was able to successfully get a mineral line with his BC and knock down the base, then he could be getting into his mech with an economic advantage. Unfortunately, I mean, I would say he still does have an economic lead, but not as large as it otherwise should be. As a result, Astrea is keeping up economically somewhat and making use of that by taking up into SkyToss. SpeCial going for this more traditional form of mech, going into like Hellion Viking tank into delayed battle mech, it is going to be a lot slower to really get going, and it does mean that Astrea has a lot of time to do this, to build up his SkyToss, to get into his own charge lots as well, to tech up and to refine his army and get a superior composition. So the power spike that SpeCial should be having isn't really there. It's not as great as it should be. You see Astrea building up his Tempest, again slowly refining his army, perfecting his army. BCs are spotted, and Astrea should be able to respond. SpeCial should be able to teleport away. He shouldn't lose a BC. Oh, Jesus. barely does teleport away. Doesn't lose anything. Astrea, he will claim the center gold. So let's move out. Ooh. They'll see each other. Both armies are maxing. What are we refining our army with here? So we have a couple of Thors. Sorry, we have a couple of Cyclones sprinkled in. No Thors. Considering that we're up against SC2's. Oh, the BCs are getting caught out. Teleport's on cooldown. No! Yeah, teleport's not available, which means all the BCs are going to go down. Brutal pickoffs. They did not pay for themselves. So an expensive loss there for SpeCial. What I was going to say here is that I'm a little bit surprised I don't really see many Vikings. Thors, they can be okay as like an anchor point, but instead we're going to mass Cyclone. There's only one Viking in the sky. We're making one Viking at a time. So yeah, the anti-air is going to be quite limited here for SpeCial, which means the Tempest, they can just reign supreme. Oh, decent connections. Couple of mines do go up. Center base is going to go down. Clipping the main army. SpeCial does take down at least the center base. And the Tempest do not quite back. Yeah, a bit of miscontrol here from Astrea. He will lose one Tempest. One Tempest goes down. Astrea did overextend. Oh, nice Nova. And Nova connects. And SpeCial, he will be forced back. He's going to be losing most of his Cyclones. He does get another Tempest. We have 8 Tempests left. That's still a lot. Oh! Oof. Lose another. Another Tempest goes down. Nice retargeting. Yeah, very nice retargeting. Tempest, I think, a massive beating. Oh no! Oh my god. The splits are not there. Splits are not there, Pappy. Brutal Nova. And SpeCial. Ooh, another connection. Another mine shot goes up. Very messy fight here from Astrea. As he gets knocked down to 6 Tempest, but he's making 5 more behind this. Astrea, he preserves most of his army. Can keep pushing. And as long as he kites well with his Tempest, he should not lose them. So he's reinforcing, did run through another pair of mines. As he has 0 detection. Yeah, 0 detection. Tempest, they try to kite back, but 2 of them are going to go down. Yeah, brutal lock-ons. Oh god, yes. SpeCial goes back into the Nova. Takes Nova to the face. That'll make scene cleaned up. And again, the Viking count just never built up. It never got there. They've had more than 2. SpeCial as he does get across the map. He does try some mineralize. Nice tank boys going from the Stalkers. It's a lot of Stalkers going down. And the Tempest are on their own. Yeah, Tempest are... Oh, never mind. We have some Stalker reinforcements just in time. Yeah, they do arrive. 0 anti-air. And SpeCial... Sorry, Astrea's done it. Astrea has done it. SpeCial has been broken. The Hellies just try to harass. GG gets called. And Astrea takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG well played. Astrea does take a lead in the series. Again, it was an interesting build, an interesting opener out of SpeCial. Again, going into mech, I mean, it does work. We've seen both Clem and Ryung succeed with mech this week, a couple of days ago. But SpeCial going into the early BC, it did feel like he kind of fumbled the ball there. The initial BC opener went unscouted. It went unscouted. It was perfect, but the execution was lacking. If you remember, he teleported the BC into the main base. His army was out of position, so he couldn't harass. He couldn't do anything with the time he was buying with the distraction that was the BC, and he kind of missed his window. He missed his opportunity. He fell behind, or I shouldn't say he fell behind, but he didn't take the lead that he wanted to take, unfortunately, and Astrea got away with SC2's. Did get away with it. Meanwhile, SpeCial, he went into mass factory production despite scouting the SC2's early. Remember, he scanned, he saw the fleet beacon, he saw the stargates before they were done, but he chose not to go into Viking production against Mass Tempest, and which is necessary. You do need those Vikings. They are an amazing supportive unit, and you saw that SpeCial, he was squeezing out a couple of Vikings here and there, but he never got a second starport. Like, there was never a second starport, so his Viking production was very limited in favor of tanks and cyclones. Against SC2's, not ideal. GG. GG, well played. With that, Astrea does take a lead, and now we're getting into game number 2. Going to be loading into ley lines. Let's go. Let us go. Meanwhile, big shout out to I see Canoia in the chat. Canoia. Bienvenidos. Alright guys, hello. Hero Bruce in the chat as well. Hero Bruce, even. Bienvenidos, as we're getting into game number 2 and spawning in the top right hand corner of ley lines. We have the American Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss. Yeah, well, leading the series. Sorry, let's fix that up. Leading the series 1-0. It is Astrea. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Terran player, the red Terran. We have the Mexican Terran representing Team Gosu. It is SpeCial. Here we go. Are going to be building up, and I can't imagine we're going to be seeing that same build out of SpeCial again. Referring specifically to opening up at BC, I can't imagine we'll see that again in this series. Maybe one more time. I'm used to covering like best of 3s and best of 5s, but in a best of 7 you can afford to kind of go and double back to this at some point later on in the series, like a game 4, 5, or 6. For now, once again, double gas opener at a SpeCial. Going for, once again, the faster factory. Last game, this led into Widowmine drop into BC follow-up. This could be a more committed Widowmine drop. This could be Banshee play. We'll see. We'll see where SpeCial takes us. So our eyes are mainly on the Terran. As Astrea does poke in. Doesn't go further into the main base, so he's a little bit in the dark as to what's going on. For all he knows, it could be a high ground CC. So does pull back. SpeCial, he does not skip his Reaper. Does go for the Reaper scouts. Behind this, getting into his own reactor. With this, we can go into Reactor Reaper Hellion. Being set for an add-on top instead. Show us what you got. So we can even go Marine into Tech Lab into Cyclone. This Reaper does poke in. Speaking of Tech Lab, there it is. So no Hellion production, going for the early Cyclone instead. If you recall, last game we did see Reaper Hellion. Not this time. So reacted Marine into Cyclone production. Meanwhile, Astrea likewise does mix it up as well, opening up with the Twilight Council into Blink. No Phoenixes, not this time. I will say that the Phoenix opener was lackluster as well. True. If you remember the Phoenixes, they didn't really get much done. They killed a handful of SCVs. They got shut down by the battle cruisers. So we're done with said Stargate for the time being. Oh, as SpeCial, he is actually going for very early tank production. So he does go for the safety cyclone first, then into tanks. With this, we can set up for an early push, so we'll keep an eye on SpeCial, as he'll be building up a tank gun very quickly. Likewise is going into Banshee production as well with Cloak. So Cloak Banshees are on the way. If you recall, this is what we assumed SpeCial would do last game. And it's on Astrea to confirm what's happening. As SpeCial pokes in, sees additional gateways, so he can more or less assume that it was a Twilight Council. It is going to be 3-gate. Yeah, 3-gate blink. So safe opener here by Astrea, 3-gate blink, robo into a third base. Hallucination does confirm the research on the tech lab, and SpeCial now has a choice to cancel. One of the reasons why this build that SpeCial is going for is a little bit out of favor, specifically researching the upgrade, getting into Cloak, is because it is very common nowadays for Protoss players to go for the Robo and Observers before expanding, which is what we're seeing here. So again, just really safe play out of Astrea. He will have detection, and he has the tools to defend. The tools to defend. SpeCial, he does pull some of the boys. He's committing here. He's not going to be harassing. I should say, he is harassing across the map while he distracts. His main army's pushing in. He's pushing in. Astrea does meet with the army. He will slow this down. Not bad. Snipes the Cyclone. Very nice pickup. So for a couple of Marines, ideally he wants to force an early siege. Banshee's revealed. Especially he bleeds out, or he bleeds off 4 Marines on a Cyclone. Taking a lot of damage, taking a lot of hits. He wants that third base. Astrea coming in from behind. Ooh. Coming in a little bit too soon here. He does get one of the tanks, but takes a lot of damage. Gets one, gets both tanks. Okay. 2 tanks go down. Behind this is buying time, going for extra warp-ins. Immortal production is underway. He's got one Immortal, and Astrea holds. Yeah, Astrea he holds. He should save the expansion. It's going to be close. Oh my god. Barely gets a tank. The Immortal was a little bit too far behind. Especially he wants the Nexus. He gets it. Just barely. Barely takes down the expansion, but that was an expensive trade here for SpeCial. As he will lose the entire army, and Astrea, he needs to counterattack. He needs to counterattack here. He should not have lost that base. Again, it was close. So Astrea's moving out. SpeCial back at home. What does he have to defend? He has 1 tank. Sorry, 2. He has 2 tanks. 1 in the natural, 1 in the main base. He has a Banshee in between. Cloak is available. With the Sentry, you can hallucinate. You can dive into the main base as well. But the bunker isn't done. This tank, this low ground is very exposed. And Astrea, he might just go for the kill. Might just go for the kill here. He does move in. Tank goes down. Takes down the tank, takes down the bunker as well. Ooh, do we have detection though? Where's the Observer? The Observers are at home. No, no! The Observers are back at home. SpeCial holds. SpeCial he holds on thanks to the Banshees. The invisible flying machine. Banshees are keeping SpeCial in this. Hey, they harass across the map. They defend back at home. So it's 5 pro kills. Not bad. Gets 5 probes, 2 Banshees taking 1 shots, but this time there are Stalkers in position. Ooh. These Banshees, they barely get away. You can see Astrea trying to intercept. He does move over. He barely will miss them. Just barely. And back at him special, he is yet to expand. I mean, he was all in before, and he's committing here to a 2-base all in. No third base in sight. Even if he throws one down now, it's going to be insanely late. Astrea's already getting a 4th expansion. So it's going to be all or nothing for Special, and he can pull the boys. Now, thankfully, because Special killed the third base earlier, it means that Astrea's supply isn't as large as it should be. So Special, he still has a window, still has his timing. But as time goes on, it's getting better and better for Astrea. The boys are being pulled. We have 3 tanks, 2 banshees. Scan does reveal. Special, he's pre-sieged. He knows he was spotted, so he wants to try to catch the army. Wants to lure Astrea in. Oh. Banshee goes down. Astrea pushing forward. Sorry, Special pushing forward. Astrea does intercept. Now it's up to 3 Colossus. Oh, God. I mean, we mentioned this earlier. Like, time is working against Special here. The longer this goes on, the better for Astrea. So we have extra warpins. Delta coming from behind. They're getting on top of the tanks. He blinks in. He gets 1. He gets 2. 2 tanks go down. There's 1 tank left. And the Colossus, they just go ham. They just go to town on the army. Yeah, the laser show. Lasers, they pop off, and especially has nothing left. GG gets called, and Astrea takes a 2-0 lead. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Special was hyper aggressive here, going for non-stop 2-base all-ins. He never expanded, never go to third base. The Banshees, I mean, they played their role. They had their place, of course, but when it came to the first tank push, unfortunately, Special took too long. It took too long to get across the map. He bled out a lot in the process, bled out 2 tanks, bled out 4 Marines, bled out far too much, and by the time he got on top of the base, he didn't really have much of an army left. He did kill the expansion, true. He killed the third base, but it cost him everything to do so. Wasn't worth it. Was not worth it. GG, well played. With that, that leads us into game number 3, and the pressure is on Special here. It's a rough way to start the series, down 2-0. Thankfully, it is the best of 7, so we have more games ahead of us here, but it is still a really rough position for Special. We want to make a series out of it. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the Mexican Terran player. We have the the Red Terran. Representing Team Gosu, it is Special. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player, we have the American Protoss, leading the series 2-0. It is Astrea. Here we go. Astrea looks pretty good for someone out of practice. You didn't watch day 1. I mean, he's looking pretty solid. I will say that game 1 was very shaky. If you recall, we were discussing about how Astrea's Stargate Phoenix opener did fall in its face. He bled out a lot of Phoenixes. It wasn't worth it. It was not worth it. Thankfully, again, Special's BC opener also fell in its face, so so that led into that kind of game state. But here, I would say that yes, game 2 was a lot cleaner from Astrea, for sure. Was a lot cleaner, as Astrea was able to get a read on what was going on. And thankfully, game 2, like, Special's set up his build and his overall goal was very straightforward. Very straightforward, was scattered ahead of time. I will say that Astrea did struggle against the Banshees themselves, as they were dealing quite a lot of harassing damage, and also they allowed Special to survive the counterattack as well. So the Banshees were definitely a thorn in Astrea's side. We'll have to tighten up a little bit more against that. For now, here we go. Now here we go, double gas opener, double gas out of Special, once again going for a faster factory. Now game 1 we saw Reactor Reaper Hellion, game 2 we saw Reactor Marine into Cyclone, game 3 what's it gonna be? But again, delayed command centers are more of an aggressive build here by Special. Welcome to Ultra Love. 2-base all-ins are favorable on this map, and we do expect to see Astrea go for 3-gate play. We should be seeing safe play out of Astrea once again, so we're expecting 3-gate blink into a gas, into a robo on 2 bases, into a delayed third, especially on Ultra Love. If he deviates from that, it's going to be a little bit crazy, and it'll give SpeCial the opportunity to get some damage done. So we'll see. We shall see. As the reactor is on the way. Reaver moves out, and we'll see what tech we go for. As Reaper pulls away, has yet to really get much information. Is it going to be a Twilight Council opener out of Astrea? True. Zella gets across, delays the CC. Oh god. Delays the CC. So a nice start there for Astrea. A little delay. SpeCial does deal with the first Zealot. But nice little start here for Astrea. Just delaying the start. Behind this, it is going to be Reacted Marine into a delayed Tech Lab, going for a Widowmine drop. Okay. So Widowmine drop start here by SpeCial. This is looking a little bit similar here to game number 1. A little bit. I would say that SpeCial, he has a pretty wide array of builds available to him, so it does look similar to game 1, which can lead into like an add-on swap into Fusion Core. But again, SpeCial, he is one that does have a lot of builds up his sleeve, so we'll see how he deviates. As he supply blocks. He supply blocked because of the delay. Oh god. That is what is brutal here at this level of play, is that your builds are so... I mean, they're so concise that one little slip up in a build can throw you off. So, that was a brutal supply block. SpeCial drops in. Going for that Justice Pylon, let's go! And Pylon is under fire. Not the most targeted of DPS, but we'll bring it down. Delays Blink, very nice delay. This Blink does not finish. From here, even threatening the Twilight Council itself. Baits out the Mine Shot. Mine Shot is baited. SpeCial pulls away, rotates over towards the natural. SpeCial goes rotated. And behind this looks like he's continuing with aggression. He's pushing. So we're rallying across the map here with the Cyclone, with the Viking. We have more Vikings on the way. We have tanks. Sorry, we have more Liberators on the way. We have a tank as well. So SpeCial is rallying. He wants to try to break through. Almost gets the Cybercore. Almost. Nice, so stepping out of SpeCial. Catching up both adepts. But remember, Astrea was playing this safe, so he's got more Stalkers. Blink is still not yet done, though. Here comes that first tank. As we mentioned again, especially he's rallies into the army. Oh no, the first tank! First tank barely gets away. Oh my god. One shot, 5 HP. The 5 HP tank back. Oh my god. Just barely survived. And especially pulls away, thankfully. Thankfully he pulls back. He's gonna make it back home. Astrea going for a delayed third into Colossus. And SpeCial settling into 2 bases. So far with this 3-1-1 setup, building up more tanks. Liberator, ooh, does delay mining, but not much more than that. Delays mining in the main. And at this point, we're waiting to see, is SpeCial going to throw down 2 more Maxes, or does he throw down a 3rd command center? What are we going for? He's got the E-base, so it should be a longer game here. We should be waiting for at least +1. SpeCial did some nice damage when it comes to delaying the tech and delaying Astrea's aggression. But where are we going from here? Attempted Viking harass. Not going to get much done. Scanner reveals Colossus. SpeCial knows. He knows that if he's committing on 2 bases, I mean, that window is closing. If we can build up to, say, 2 Colossus, Astrea should be fine. Astrea has been playing very Colossus heavy so far this series, which makes sense. If you haven't been watching much TVP over the past couple of weeks on the latest patch, you would maybe not know that Colossus-based play has made a very big return. The reason for this is because of the change to the Ghost, of course. The Ghost is now much more vulnerable. Colossus play is a little more viable here. So now Protoss players have the option to go Colossus or Storm. Like, both are kind of viable tech paths. And a lot of players have been embracing Colossus. With that special, he made his choice. 2 more Raxes. If you remember, we were discussing that. We were saying, does he throw down 2 more Raxes or a 3rd CC? We have the answer. 2 more Raxes, 2 base all in. So 2 base all in at a special. This does hit hard, but it does hit late. So we have 4 tanks, soon to be 5. So 5 tanks plus 1 attack is going to be kicking in time for the push as well. It is a terrifying army, but as we mentioned, it does force the early siege. Again, the longer this goes on, the better it is for Astrea, as he's getting extra warp pins and he's getting another Colossus. Astrea getting ready for a flank. Oh, brutal. Tanks do siege. He does spot the Zealots. Special's aware, and Astrea does catch reinforcements. Very nice. Yeah, Special is on his own. He's on his own. Reinforcing tank goes down. Boys are being pulled. Astrea, he doesn't throw away his Zealots, he pulls back. Once again, does force an earlier siege. So Special is just taking his time pushing in. The 3rd Colossus is almost out. And Astrea, he's ready for the flank. Oh, Zealots get spotted. Special knows. The army responds, tanks are exposed. Astrea, he goes for it. Yeah, he goes for the kill. He goes for the tanks. They're on their own. 1, 2, 3. All 4 tanks go down. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, no more tanks. And with that, Special, he will lose everything. GG gets called. And Astrea, he will take a 3-0 lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, it was very delayed all in here from Special. Just took so long to get going. Honestly, he had a really nice start. He had a really nice start when it came to delaying Blink, when it came to catching a couple of gateway units, when it came to setting up on his initial 2 bases. But alas, we saw that Astrea was able to regain map control, take his own 3rd base, build up into Colossus, and it did feel like that all in, that timing from Special. It did hit just a little bit too little too late. By the time he moved out, again, there were already 3 Colossus. It was so delayed. The counterattacks were brutal as well, slowing him down, forcing his attention back, and GG. GG, Astrea was able to shut him down. And Astrea is up 3-0, 1 more game, 1 game away from claiming the series. Oh boy, what do you have for us this time? Again, Juanito is going for a different build every game. He's going for a different build every game so far. He has been mixing it up. What do you have for us? What do you have in store for us here? Loading into Tokamak. Oh boy, as they're loading into game number 4. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the American Protoss player. The American Protoss, we have the blue Protoss leading the series 3-0. It is Astrea. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Terran player. We have the red Terran player himself, the South American, the Mexican Terran, representing Team Gosu. It is SpeCial. Here we go. Again, it's been a rough series so far here for SpeCial, for Juanito. Welcome one and all to Tokamak. This is one of the largest maps in the map pool. Second largest map, second only to Maganatha. Very long rush distance by ground. It's a very defensive map as well. Aggression and all-ins are not favored on this map, so we should not be seeing SpeCial be hyper aggressive. We can see something more tech heavy or something more economic instead. I'm leaning towards either a faster 3rd TC for SpeCial or maybe even mech again. Or even both, true. We'll see. Let's see what SpeCial goes for. Astrea, he immediately scouts for a proxy. Wise choice. On a map like this, a player like SpeCial might not want to play a longer game, so there's a higher chance for a proxy. Astrea does check. Meanwhile, for the first time this series, do you see what I see? Single gas. Single gas opener ranks into faster CC. Economic starts at a special, and Astrea's here to force the off-center base. Does force it off-center. We'll be delaying the economy here. We'll be delaying the expansion of special. So a nice little annoying start for Astrea. Does force the base. Quite a bit off-center, actually. I mean, it's fine. He can always lift it and land it, but this will delay the expansion. So nice cheeky start from Astrea. He doesn't just slay, but he also scouts, right? He confirms, hey, for the first time, you're playing economic. That means Astrea can also cut corners. We mentioned earlier how it is very common to see faster robo play on 2 bases, and we've seen that every game, almost every game, except for the game that we had a Stargate opener, of course. Even then, there was a faster robo. But it's very common to go 3-gate blink into a robo and then go for a later expansion. Here on Tokamak, Astrea also has the option to cut corners. He can delay his robo, he can delay his 3rd gateway, he can go for a faster base instead. Ooh. Or we could try to punish the greed. I mean, that's the power of Protoss, right? It's like with the warp in, with the warp gate mechanic, you can get a proxy up and running, you can reinforce across the map, you can be hyper aggressive. Despite the size of the map, that doesn't stop the Protoss from being aggressive like this. And here comes the Dark Shrine. Oh, no. Okay. Okay. Oh, boy. So we're going into DTs. Now, Dark Templar, they're very hit and miss rushing DTs in this matchup. As you can imagine, this heavily relies upon special. If special doesn't scout this, it isn't just about hiding it, but it's also about whether or not special mules. If special mules, he can die. So it depends. Does he hold on to energy? Does he hold on to a scan? If he mules at the wrong moment, or at the right moment for Astrea, then DTs can just show up and they can just end the game. They can just end the game if there's no scan. So this is quite a big gamble here from Astrea, quite a big risk. But it happens. Like, again, we've seen, like, Bjorn insta-GG to this. Like, if he mules at the wrong moment, the DT show up, then just bam, like, GG. Like, it does happen at the highest level. It does happen to players like Bjorn, players like Cure. Hellion Scout does get in, okay. So Hellion gets in. What does he see? He sees 1 gateway in the main, 1 gateway with the natural, sees Twilight Council, sees a blink is being researched. At this point, there should be another gateway, or at least another expansion, so something's a little bit off. As here come the Dark Templar. Just muled. Okay, so he just muled from his main. The natural base does have a little bit of energy here, and we'll see if he mules. DT's waddling in. We're about to have energy. Does special notice? It's lining up here. If Astrea attacks, he doesn't. He notices, let's go! He notices just in time. There's the first scan, but only 1 scan. There was only 1 scan available. Second DT arrives. Oh no, he goes into soon. Goes into soon. Miscontrol out of Astrea. Phew. And special holds. Special he does hold on at the same time. Would have drop across the map. Astrea does blow away in time. He does defend. And again, that could have been disastrous here, but as we mentioned, Astrea did have some miscontrol as he was distracted by the drop. There is 1 scan soon available. There we go. Scan is available. Scan is we can scan. There it is. A little bit late, but regardless, Special does defend. The game will continue. Game does continue, and this is a really big investment from Astrea. I would say so far this wasn't really worth it. It cost him a Dark Shrine, it cost him a gateway that can be hunted down, it cost him a delayed expansion, and also 3 Dark Templar for what exactly? For a handful of SCVs. Only 3 SCVs went down. Again, not worth it for Astrea. So Special, he holds nicely. No safety bunker. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, no safety bunker. Stalkers, they can have their way with this army. There's nothing to stop this. Like, Marines, they don't do anything in this kind of position here. They're just being bullied. Marauders do help. Yeah, but this is brutal. Stim is a ways away. There's no tanks. Yeah, with 0 tanks here, I mean, and with 0 bunker. Oh, boy. Yeah, brutal pickoffs. Getting what? 12 Marines! 12 Marines to SCVs for nothing! And Astrea, he makes up for his DTs. he does make up for his Dark Templar. Again, winding back, the reason why this is doing so much damage, 0 tank production. He never got any tanks. He went into later stim. Stim is done in 5 seconds. Until then, Marauder goes down. Oh, no, barely saved. They will save again, 12 Marines. I said 12, sorry, 13 Marines, a Marauder, and an SCV. So very nice trades here, very nice pickups from Astrea. Punish the special. And during all of that, during all the efficiency here, during the better trades from Astrea, he expands. He gets a 4th base, so he's just mass expanding behind this, getting a greater economies, up to 65 workers. Astrea looking comfortable and looking to get even better here as the game progresses. Special, 2 more, 2 base all in. 2 more Vaxes, no 3rd TC, it's all or nothing for special. I'm not too fond of going for this style on Tokamak, but sure, let's go. He does try to commit. Mine shot's debated, there's 1 with a mine shot left. Does get focused down, the Colossus has arrived, and Astrea holds. Yeah, Astrea, he has a Colossus, as long as he doesn't lose it. Ooh. Yeah, special dives in, doesn't get the Colossus, special gets punished. And it wasn't worth it. It was not worth it. We'll lose every Marauder. The Marauders, the Marines, everything crumbles. And remember, behind this special, chose not to expand. He chose not to expand. He chose to commit to the all-in. GG gets called. The all-in fails. And Astrea, he will take the series 4-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Astrea as it does claim the series. Again, special, he had a couple of nice moments here in this series as well, referring to the game where he played mech. True, when he played mech. Likewise, here in this game as well, he had a nice start. Unfortunately, he cut too many corners. His build was designed to hit with stim, was designed to hit with mass marine, mass marauder specifically, but he chose to skip his bunkers. Because there were no bunkers set up at his natural or in his main base, he was vulnerable to blink stalkers, and Astrea happened to follow up after the DTs with blink stalkers. So special just lost everything. He lost 13 Marines. 13 Marines, a Marauder, and 2 SCVs. Those were brutal losses that heavily slows down the sim timing because you lose almost 2 full medevacs full of Marines. That is huge. Imagine that 2 base all in with 13 extra Marines, right? With an extra Marauder as well, like with that extra army, with that extra support. Suddenly, you know, maybe that would have been enough to break through, potentially, before the Colossus, I should emphasize. As the Colossus, of course, was kind of the sign of a defense from Astrea. But GG well played. With that, a very strong showing here by Astrea. Very strong, very surprising, considering that special, I believe special, he made it out in 1st place in the group stage. There's a reason why we had special and Astrea here in the 1st round in the semifinals. I believe it's because special finished 1st and Astrea finished last. So again, a really strong showing here by Astrea. After a day of warm-up, you know, now he's warmed up, he's after day 1. And looking to redeem himself here in the playoffs in day number 2. Here we go. As we are going to be catching up on the rest of the brackets. We are going to be catching up. So Astrea, he does claim the initial series 4-0. Astrea is going to be the first player to make it through the grand finals. And Astrea, he's waiting for the winner of Jam and Trigger, a ZVP between Latin America and North America as well. Here we go. We are going to be going on a very short break because we only have 3 series tonight. So we're going to be going on a very short break. When we come back, we'll have Trigger and Cham facing off in their own respective best of 7. Winner goes up against Astrea in a best of 9 grand finals. Oh boy. Here we go. So yes, we'll see you soon. We're going to be going on a short break, and we'll see you soon for the lower semis.